I've went through many articles to research about my specific topic, art. See what I did there? Article. Anyway, art is what brings me here today to talk to you about the wonderful Art Museum of Philadelphia. First, I'll talk about the history. When the museum first started in around 1825, somewhere not really near, but I'm going to bring it all the way up to 1865 in Fairmount Park, where the specific leader of the museum was Paul Durandal. And during their times, they collected objects such as European ceramics, books were also among the museum's earliest acquisitions, as were antique furniture, enamels, carved ivories, jewelry, metalwork, glass, pottery, porcelain, textiles. Oh, and don't forget the paintings. Things were a bit downhearted in the 1930s start. I did it again. Anyway, they were down because it was when the Great Depression was held. It was around the 1930s, but they had received some help from J. Stodgel Stokes, who helped through the whole time period of the Great Depression. But you can't forget about Paul Durandal as well, because everyone who recognizes him agrees that they wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for his contributions as well. It was worth having the downtime because after the Great Depression, the museum's growth had skyrocketed, with a ton of gifts including John D. McElhenney and the George Gray Barnard collection, which are pieces of art that they donated as gifts. In other sites, which talks about more modern-day versions of art, museums say that they had received more than 50 gifts of artwork or endowment funds. They now have a range of varieties of art, for they hold works by Cy Twombly, Philip Guston, Agnes Martin, Eva Hesse, and Paul Thek, which proves that they did get a lot of gifts from other people, and there were also a lot of pieces of more modern art, such as Charles Demuth, Marsden Hartley, and Horace Pipin. Earlier, American works by Thomas Cole and Albert Pinkham Ryder, which makes them one of Philadelphia's landmarks, located at the end of Benjamin Franklin Parkway, which also brings more popularity to the museum. To get more specific on the art pieces, there are paintings such as religious ones, like some from El Greco in the Gallery 273, second floor, where some of its paintings are of Jesus Christ being crucified to a cross-shaped board. Or once he draws it really specific, including the Virgin Mary and Saint John looking at the crucified body. Shows that around in the 1600s to now, people today still follow this religion a lot. That it even led them to drawing successful pieces. But then there's also some family portraits of the famous Cadwalders. The father, John Cadwalder, was the commander of the Pennsylvanian troops during the American Revolutionary War. Having one of the heroes of Pennsylvania is an eye-catcher for most of the tourists as well, as a good attraction for people who don't know about him. Not only that, but there's photographs of Terrans and many more. Things like art from other places such as Korea, including the creativity of their art like Jimin and his blue things, and exploring the typical blue is for boys, pink is for girls stereotype, which also gives more of a mental lesson behind the art, or a sociology lesson, because nowadays it shouldn't matter if you like the color pink when you're a boy because they're just colors. Then we have Japanese. For the Japanese, they show more of culture. They have a women's kimono, patterns in their art, which actually has a lot of drawings, for good fortune. And lastly, it's the dragon and the tiger, specifically named Riko, meaning courage and cooperation. And combined, they become the balance of all power. The dragon protects the almighty heavens, as the tiger rules over earth, and is the only animal said to be par with the dragon in Japanese folklore. But combined, they show a deadly force which is influenced in a lot of their martial arts, where they focus on balanced power and techniques instead of polishing strength. The Chinese, where they express their arts by making plates, and not normal ones, but with more design. And these plates were mostly used by the more wealthy people in China, and other than the plates, they had a Chinese reception hall, which actually looked like a temple at first. But the Chinese reception hall is antiques from the Ming and Qing dynasties, old dynasties that range back from 1644 to 1912 in China, known as one of the strongest empires. Then they had the Mexicans, where they had one drawing named Dancer, and it's an old art piece that can be referenced on how it was drawn. For example, pre Columbian art, which had the spiral, the circle, half circle, S motive, zigzag, curved line, and straight line, the drawing was analyzed and found to be true. Then there was South Asian, where they're mostly on Buddhism, such as gods they worship. Lord, I can tell I'm gonna mess up these names. But anyway, there's the Indra, the king of gods from both Hindu and Buddha. His thumb and index fingers are pressed together just to show the symbol of teaching. Surya, a sun god mainly from Hindu. Purana, Bhadra, king of the Vaishravana attendants, which represents wealth. Our own American landscapes, the drawings are more all over the place. Like, some have boats, some have birds, dance floors, and even the roof of a house. And people there just doing their own daily life. And lastly, a New York house model for a drawing room, where the whole room is majestic looking and paintings show of the mystical tale of Psyche, the beautiful mortal who overcame many obstacles to eventually become Cupid's wife. Which brings me to my last topic, which is more modern day art museum, like how it's doing today and such. Based on the people who have given their feedback on what it's like inside the Philadelphia Art Museum, most of it turned out as positive results. They also have special surprises once in a while. Like February 24th to May 15th, there was a special event where you get to see special pop art from about 80 artists, and you get to see their own creations. But that's only an example. They have something like events that people want to look forward to, such as the Art After 5 program, and it features live jazz or international music playing while a bar is open. It's a really enjoying place for people after they've spent most of their day looking at creations by certain people and trying to figure out their own meaning and then trying to think of the creator's mind and inspiration for how the piece was created. If you guys have spare time, then maybe you could go and visit the Philadelphia Art Museum. Admission is about $20 for adults, $18 for seniors, meaning like 65 years or older. Students with IDs are $14. Youth is $13 to $18. Children 12 years or younger are free. And last of all, the members join for free. Even with that, there's a program at the first Sunday of every month or every Wednesday called Pay What You Wish, where you get to pay for the price that equals to your visit in the museum or the museum's library. But it can only work after 5 p.m. And the whole museum is based on the 3 linked Greek temples, which the builder Julian Abel was inspired to do after his visit from Greece. For more information about the Philadelphia Art Museum, simply go to www.philamuseum.org.